When Ken O'Keefe offered to do the suspension upgrade to our Isuzu D-MAX, we thought it was only justified to put it through its paces before and after. So what we're going to do now is take it out on our test track and see how it goes through our program of accident avoidance, and also see what it does in a straight line in actual emergency braking. Let's put it through the test.
What we see with this emergency braking test simulated at 70 kilometers an hour is the front of the vehicle dives significantly under braking. This causes a late reaction from the braking system, as the suspension slack needs to be taken up first before we can get to maximum braking threshold, increasing our stopping distance at this speed by around 2 meters. We now move to the next phase of the process, which is looking at our accident avoidance and how the vehicle will respond changing lanes radically. What we notice is excessive body roll, causing the vehicle to not turn as responsive as it should, and this allows the vehicle to push wide and actually then transition into a slide in wet conditions.
So we've had the car modified at the Ultimate Suspension in Ingleburn. Ken looked after us, he's raised the suspension, but he's also boosted the shock absorbers and also given us a better spring package that has now changed the way the vehicle drives. One of the problems with this Isuzu D-MAX that we found when we first got it was under brakes it would dive quite heavily, and when you were doing the accident avoidance it felt like there was a lot of body roll and the suspension just felt like it was all at sea. Something that a lot of people with these sports utility vehicles feels right from the get-go. And the best thing is, we've been able to change the way the vehicle drives by improving the suspension package. So what we're going to do now is put it through its paces and compare what it was like before to after. And just driving it on the road, I know that there's probably been an 80% improvement. The other thing that we did while we're at the Ultimate Suspension was they put in DBA brake rotors. They also put in DBA brake pads, and that has changed the way that the braking system works. And I would say, just in terms of pedal feel and stopping ability, it's improved by about 60%. So from that perspective, we've got an upgrade in the suspension that's changed the way that the vehicle drives in a positive way, and we've also upgraded the brakes, which is giving us a better safety feature. And if you're going to tow like I do a little bit with this vehicle, it's going to be a big factor for you to have better braking.
Now what you'll see, even in dry conditions where there's more grip, the vehicle does not dive as far forward as it did before with the old suspension. That's allowed us to get maximum braking threshold sooner. Moving on to accident avoidance. Now you'll see the body roll difference with the new Ultimate Suspension already fitted. The vehicle's much more direct under turning, and it allows us to avoid the obstacles with ease. To ensure parity, we again tested it under wet conditions, and you'll see that it's given the footprint of the tyre a much better landing than before. You'll notice on the right is the new suspension setup, on the left is the old one, and the difference in body roll is visible. And that equates to better grip on the ground, and also it doesn't push the vehicle wide like it did last time. Freezing it here in this position, we can see the radical lean on the vehicle, which is caused by that suspension that was too soft in the very beginning from standard. Now as the vehicle transitions to the other direction, you'll see the weight shifts and causes the vehicle to slide, despite it having a great stability control system fitted. It was also important for us to test this vehicle off-road. Off-road driving is something that these vehicles do on a regular basis. So we took this corner at 60 kilometers an hour to see what it would do now with the new suspension and improved balance. As you can see, the vehicle does it with ease and keeps all the wheels on the ground, getting traction through the corner. Four-wheel drive vehicles that venture off-road want to also have good ground clearance. In this exercise here, you'll see the ground clearance is adequate for us to get over many different types of obstacles. Ground clearance is important to ensure you don't get stuck on hills and berms and things like that, to ensure all the wheels remain on the ground. It's important to also ensure that you have good suspension travel. In this here you can see at full droop there is plenty of downward travel, which also allows for the other side of the axle to have up travel, and that gives you the ability to keep all tyres on the ground when you're doing any sort of off-road that allows for the axles to actually traverse in different directions while moving forward, keeping traction and preventing yourself from getting bogged or stuck. With sand driving, the vehicle needs to be of adequate height so the middle of the vehicle does not belly out, causing the tyres to lose grip and then get bogged. It is also important for your suspension to be robust enough to handle these kind of conditions.
So there we have it, the proof's in the pudding. The suspension from standard versus what it is now is about an 80% improvement, and we can't argue with that. Yes, there's an expense in getting your suspension upgraded by the Ultimate Suspension, but value for money, I don't think you could actually come anywhere near it from a spend that you should do on your vehicle. When you're out and about, you want your suspension and your brake and everything like that to match what you're towing, to match the load you're carrying, and more importantly, keep you safe while you're out on the road. Talk to the guys at the Ultimate Suspension, see if they can help you out with your sports utility vehicle, and I'm sure they'll be able to look after you like they have with us. Cheers.